If you're choosing to add hormones to a child's body, that's a choice. An actual woman. Yeah, I said actual. Off.
Gender's not just genitals, it's in your mind.
Girls, you do not want to miss this. The Joe Rogan Experience is no stranger to wild moments. Whether it's guests going off the rails, spouting crazy ideas, or having full-blown arguments, this podcast never fails to deliver the drama. But there's one thing that sets Joe apart from all the chaos: his unique ability to step in at the perfect moment and reel things back in. Whether it's calling out contradictions or injecting a dose of common sense, Joe has a way of putting things into perspective like no one else can. Today we're going
that we argue about the Second Amendment, like, let's let constitutional lawyers, I think, discuss a lot of those things, and we should all understand that and be curious about it. But our Constitution is also silly. Like, let's remake everything. Like, let's have that conversation. There's so much better that we can do. Have a serious conversation about what kind of guns and bullets people can have. Not that they can have them or that they can't have. Like, that's the conversation. That's where we should be right now. Everything gets regulated.
The gun thing, the most f***ed up part about the messiness of the gun thing is that even if you made guns illegal, even if you said you can't have any bullets, you'll all go to jail. There's so many guns. You're not getting them all. It's not
going to break down some of those epic moments when Joe had to drop the mic on a guest's wild ideas. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another video like this. Trust me, you're going to want to be part of this conversation. Ready to jump in? Let's go. Things got heated when political comedian Pete Dominic joined the Joe Rogan Experience to discuss the Second Amendment, a topic that's been debated time and time again. But Pete threw out an idea that caught everyone off guard. He suggested that, instead of just talking about how we regulate guns...
How do you do it?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's the most important point. There's already 330, there's more guns than there are people, so what do you do? So, by the way, I think you buy as many as you can back for sure. You spend a whole bunch of taxpayer money. Just help. By the way, there's a ton of people in a bind right now that have a rifle, but like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to afford my insulin. Let me get rid of this AK-47 to live another month. You buy some guns back, it's a good expenditure of money, and then melt them down and turn them into furniture for people.
So if you wanted to do that without changing the Second Amendment, like you just have a buyback where you just offer people the opportunity to make some money by giving their guns up.
Well, the Second Amendment has been interpreted wrong by the Supreme Court, in my opinion. So I don't think you even need to talk about the Second Amendment. I think people just need to agree that these guns shouldn't be sold.
Well,
the ammunition.
Need to talk about the Second Amendment. I mean, it's a big conversation.
No, because people can have guns. You can have guns. The Rick has a right to have guns. You just can't have these guns.
Listen, man, if you need a kitchen table or stand, you can go to IKEA or even better, Home Depot.
Pete's solution to the gun issue took a turn that nobody saw coming. He proposed that the government implement a gun buyback program where they would pay citizens to surrender their firearms. The idea was that people would voluntarily give up their weapons in exchange for cash or compensation. Once the guns were collected, the government could melt them down and turn them into, wait for it, furniture. Yes, you heard that right, furniture. Imagine it, assault rifles and handguns transformed into chairs, tables, and other home furnishings. Pete argued that this would not only help reduce the number of firearms in circulation, but also serve as...
The issue is definitely the guns and the bullets in them.
Well, the main issue is the person that's capable of shooting people with the guns and the bullets.
No, it's the guns and the bullets.
The guns and the bullet are inanimate objects. Without a person pulling the trigger, we're talking nonsense here. They're not going to just shoot themselves.
It's a healthcare issue, and it's so extreme. It's really... If you want to know the answer to healthcare, you should talk to public health experts. They have those answers. They have the research. But
wait, hold on. What research? On what?
Well, they don't have enough research on. They don't have enough research on gun violence.
What are you
unfortunately.
talking about then?
I'm talking about if you want to know the solutions for what is impacting and creating death by any measure, accidental death.
Right, but we're talking about gun violence, right?
Right.
What healthcare professionals have the solutions to gun?
A symbolic act of turning weapons of violence into peaceful, everyday items. It's a radical idea, but definitely one that would make you stop and think about how far we could go to reshape our approach to gun control. Joe, as always, wasn't shy about reacting to this wild suggestion, and the conversation quickly took an interesting turn. Stay tuned to see how he handled this one.